Hello, 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 and welcome. You are here. If you're right here today, this is the Coaches Lounge with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley. And I am your host. I love this show. Well, first of all, it's my signature show. And second of all, I get to meet some wonderful, wonderful coaches, mentors, and educators to interview them, to make them shine, to make the visibility, just to get them out there. Because a lot of times they're so busy making sure you, and me, because we all should have coaches, just to put that out there, that sometimes they forget to put the light on them. And I said, I never really seen too many shows that really just give 25, maybe 30 minutes to give the love to the coaches, give the love to the innovators, give the love to the educators that are really helping us and pushing us with the gifts that we have in us for out there to the world. I said, well, you know what? Since I don't see it, I'll create it. And that's what I did. I created the Coaches Lounge so you can meet coaches, and also not just to give them light, but also so you can listen to their personality. You can listen to what they do for others. And then just maybe, you might want to hire them as your coach, or you know somebody. I have to always add that. Don't be selfish. If you know somebody that might need them, tell them about them. Tell them you heard them all on the Coaches Lounge. Yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley. I introduced you to them. So with that, we have, and you know, when I have the women on, when I have the wonderful ladies, I call them the queens. And this queen, Queen Bean. We discussed this in our virtual green room studio, because I always told her, I said, I call the women queens. So I'm letting you know ahead of time, you're going to be called queen. Get your crown. And she said, oh, Queen Bean. I was like, oh, that's catchy. I said, I like that. So we're going to be using that throughout the talk. But she's fun and loving already. She has a heart of gold. I cannot wait till you get to meet this wonderful, wonderful queen. But right after this video, we will get a chance to get to know Queen Terry Bean. And we are back. If you're just chiming in, we have a wonderful queen here for the Coaches Lounge. You are here at the Coaches Lounge with yours truly, host Barbara J. Beckley. I'm talking a little bit quickly because I like to give most of the time and most of the love to my guests, because this is where I tell them they can be selfish. Now, Mrs. Queen Terry Bean, she basically is a publisher, a speaker, a life coach, everything. You can name it, she does it. But she really in the field of really helping children discover their inner magic. I love that. And I can't wait to get to talk. Ooh, I mean, every parent right now should be listening to this. I'm telling you. Practical confidence, building ritual families can start today. Like she said, building tomorrow's confident adults, one family at a time. So important. So important. And this lady will help you do that. So welcome, Queen Terry Bean.
As we like to say, Queen Bean, right? Who lives in Queens, by the way, which is pretty classic as well. But thank you, Barbara Beckley. I could not wait for the show. I'm very excited to meet you and everything that you do. And I have a feeling you and I are going to have a long relationship together. So yeah, it's an exciting time. It really is an exciting time right now. Yeah. So
one thing I love, Queen Bean. I love this. You're going to have to tailor this and market this. I always like to pull back the curtains. It's kind of nice to see why you do what you do, because you do so much And like right now, you're really helping those children and, with their inner confidence level. But I know you just didn't just one day just pick up and say, I want to do this. I want to be this. What happened in your life that changed that to the direction in yours?
Oh, it's such a great question, and I don't know if it was just one thing, quite frankly. I think, and I don't think it ever is for anybody, right? Because we have lives that we've lived and filters, that we make decisions through and everything like that. So I'd like to talk about that. For one, I was brought up in a family, Barbara, that was a blended family in 63. Now, 63, blended wasn't even a term. Okay, they didn't even know that term. So I had two parents, if we don't know what it is, two parents who had separate marriages before meeting each other, had children before meeting each other, got married, and then had me. So I'm an only child, yet I'm not. And I went through a divorce, but I didn't. That's how I like to put it, because I had the effects of the divorces, the respective divorces, but I didn't have parents who actually divorced, right? So I was their quote unquote sunshine child, I like to put it. And it's awe in a way, but it's a hell of a lot of pressure, right? So for me, because there was a lot of angst, right? Because of the divorces and the kids and the rest of the jazz, all I wanted is to kind of be happy. That's it. I just wanted it to be lighter. I wanted it to be more fun. And I figured out ways to do that. Part of it was, and I do that in life even now today, is I'm someone who's kind of funny and, makes people laugh a lot. And just, I look at a lot of joy. I look at the life in that way with, like I say, not necessarily rose-colored glasses, but that's kind of a period of time in fourth grade when I was on stage, and I ended up at the end of the play with rose-colored glasses on. And I kind of think that maybe that way of thinking really is attributed to that time in Mrs. Liebert. Believe it or not, I remember her name. It's crazy when you do that, right? And then, life goes on, and I go through my ups and downs and everything. And I had a fairly traumatic, not traumatic, but dramatic, I should say, childhood, because I was very independent, because I was always searching. Even I think at the age of 8, quite frankly, I was speaking the language of personal development. So I've been on this personal development journey for an extremely long time, right? And I would be kind of that person that people tap to, hey, Terry, what do you think? Hey, Terry, what do you think? That kind of wisdom kind of thing at a very early stage. My mother used to say I'm 11 going on 44.
A lot of wisdom. Yes.
So I decided about over 14 years ago now, to write this book called Abracadabra. And I think I just sensed the cynicism that I sensed when I was a young child. And when I did, again, all I wanted to go is in my happy place. So what's funny about the book is, a friend of mine said to me, Terry, I really think the book's actually you. I said, I never thought of that. But that happens with a lot of authors, which is really interesting. So Danny, who's my character, is running, right? Because our parents are arguing. And this is something every single one of us, I think, can relate to. Okay. And she's running down to the lake to her happy space. My happy space was my room. I used to run out of the elevator. Okay. And go into my room and just create happy, whatever it was, whether it was Barbies or singing to Diana Ross on my 45, whatever it was. So Danny is running down to the lake, her favorite space, and she sees her image in the lake, and her image becomes a sage, telling her, first of all, acknowledging that she's sad, which is so important. Right? So important to acknowledge. I don't care if you're a kid or adult. We need to acknowledge each other's emotions, right? Not have the opinion or not have to fix it right away, just acknowledgement.
Say it. Yeah.
And then kind of takes Danny through a journey of how she can shift fairly quick based on how she thinks. And this is something that you, Barbara, I'm sure, and every single coach out there, we all understand how powerful our thoughts are. But if we can actually teach children how important they are between those ages of 6 and 9, and that they can truly create lives they love because they now trust themselves, because they're building that self-confidence, because all these other opinions that people always have don't mean anything that much. All this social media, right? That's coming at them all the time. And they're looking outside of themselves for this approval continuously. If we can stop that a bit by emphasizing how important they are, and that they need to know that for themselves, and that self-talk and that track that they have in their head is actually the most important track. The most important track. So once we instill that in our little ones, they will grow into adults who are definitely happier. And I don't know about you, but when I meet happier people, Barbara, they're typically kinder.
Yeah.
So they're kinder, they're happier, they're more connected to themselves and others around them. And that's exactly what I'm looking to do. With every child I can touch, truly, and every family I can touch.
You know, I want to pause for a minute, because first of all, I just want to just thank you so much for your vision and your mission and what you want to do, because I wished I had you when I was younger. I was the typical person between the ages of 6 and like maybe 12, 13, that I was heavily bullied. I mean, people called me from ugly to I didn't have a voice to why am I even in school? I mean, one child tried to put me out of school because they said I was just so terrible. And I was so quiet. I didn't say nothing to nobody. I was scared because they was telling me how bad and awful I was. And that shrinks you especially at the child's age. So everything you're saying, Queen, that's why I'm just loving all this. I'm just like eating it up, because if I had that, I think my world would have did a little bit different, because I had to learn a lot of stuff when I got teenage and 20 years, because when I was younger, that was taken away, because it was so people were so busy putting all, not people, but the children was putting all these thoughts of me not being the right person, that, I couldn't have no confidence because they said I was stupid, or they said I was ugly or not pretty enough. When we had picture day, one of the little boys pushed me to the side. He said, "You'll break the camera." Little boy, I was 6, 7 years old. He's like,
"Yes." How to deal with that?
And he pushed me because he said, "You'll break the camera for everybody else." That's why you are so important right now. That's what I just want to let you know. I had to give you those kudos. Yes.
Well, thank you for that. And you and I have something very much in common. My story was a little bit different, but I did get bullied terribly. I flipped the narrative on that for myself at an early stage, and I became super independent, but I flipped the narrative and decided that people were just jealous. That's what it was.
Yeah,
so I just flipped it on its head. The interesting part of that is you kind of bring these kind of thoughts and patterns, through your life.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different things that happen even now that I have to stop, because I understand that that's a trigger. And I have to stop and think about that for myself, and think about whether this thought is really helping me attain what I'm looking to do, and is it empowering to me or not?
Yes.
Is it dissolving a relationship that I really want to have or not? So there's, again, you and I said it earlier, we can go on for hours, but, and I love that. And I love this speak more than and like I said, I've been probably speaking it since I'm 8. So I was always like the black sheep, because this was my whole thing. In fact, again, I take care of my elderly mom. I don't think I mentioned that here. And she's 92, and she was in my room before, and she saw my the book, and she said, well, what kind of book it is? I said, well, it's in the self-help. She goes, why do you read that stuff? So it's, since I was a little kid, it was all psychobabble is
Wow.
what they used to call
Yeah.
it, which, as you can imagine, for me was really painful because
Yes.
this was who I was. I mean,
Yeah.
and I knew it. So it took me a while to really find, I guess, the purpose, right? Yes, I have
Mhm.
the life coaching, yes, all that, but my children, for me, is
Yes.
where it begins and ends. Because when I leave this planet, when you leave this planet, these kids are the ones
Yes.
that are going to be dealing with this world, and I would like to leave it kinder.
Yes.
And I think kindness is right
Mhm.
now something that we all need. So writing Abracadabra
Mhm.
was a big, big deal for me. And now it's just a matter of the exposure, getting it out there to as many families, whether it's through libraries, whether it's through, I can go to kids' parties, I can read the book, whatever it is. I have also the coloring book, which is
Okay.
amazing because I mean, and the whole story with getting my
Mhm.
incredible illustrator is just such a
Mhm.
powerful story too.
Mhm.
Yet when you see these images, they relate so beautifully to sketches for kids to
Mhm.
and adults to draw in
Mhm.
and put color into their world. Yet in the back of it, Barbara, there's two activities. One is for a child or adult to be empowered to dream a bit of what they want to be, do, or have when they grow up. And they could either draw it out or they can write it. And I
Okay.
leave 2 pages for that. The
That's nice.
second
Mhm.
point is something I do when I actually speak with children, and I talk to them about how they want to feel when they wake up in the morning. Now,
Mm.
you and I know the words we say before we even lift our heads off the pillow are some of, again, the most important words to
Yes.
intend on a great day. So
Mhm.
I talk to children, they don't know what an affirmation is,
No, they
but
don't.
imagine these kids learning early enough where they now can
Mm.
write in my little bubble blurbs, and I talk to them and I
Yes.
have my board and I say, how would you like to feel? I can't even tell you. I had this
Mm.
amazing experience where a little girl had said to me when I said, so how do you like to go to school? And she said, I hate going to school. And her dad said, and you and I are going to love this. He said, well, there's a girl with a much stronger personality than her. What was that word for you and I? Oh, so
Mm.
she's being bullied. The first thing that got hit, right? It was unbelievable. So then we're getting to the end of the book, and she writes on the board, I am happy to go to school today.
Oh my
And
God.
when that happened,
Oh,
Barbara, I am telling you right now, I said to myself, oh,
oh,
there's a world out there, Terry Bean.
got to.
You have got
Yeah.
to find a way. And I think you and I are coming together for a reason. You've got to find a way to really get this message out. So the coloring book, and then I have an
Mm.
amazing platform that I'm creating right now called the Inner Magic Club. And the innermagicclub.com is going to be a interactive website for children to literally dive into these different portals that will have games, that will have activities that will actually help build their confidence, help build their self-reliance. This is big stuff. This is not little stuff. This is it's on a massive scale, and I'm oh, like I said to the guy who is doing it with me and deals with major corporations, and they throw him millions of dollars and just give it to him and say, "Go for it, Daniel." I said, "Those are whales, Danny and Daniel." I said, "I am a minnow." So right now I could be a queen, but I'm a minnow. So please, let's handle it like appropriately. And that's what I'm trying to do. And it's a bit tough. And of course I'm in the trying to raise funds to
Mm-hmm.
really get this out, because
Yes.
it's so
It's so
outrageous when you
needed.
see that landing page, because it is. And I'm looking for founding families right now,
Mm.
and not people to give money. Actually, it's all free for the founding families, which is really exciting. But
No.
it's going to be big, big stuff. And And abracadabra is literally opening up. That's what's happening. I'm opening up abracadabra on a living site. And kids are going to be able to literally also like create an avatar for themselves and jump into the story and become the story and decide what direction they're going to want to go to in the story. There's so much that can be created now, and I'm dealing with the perfect man to do this. And you and I will talk more about being the perfect person to get me out there. So I'm pretty excited about everything that's happening and touching families and touching lives and leaving, living a legacy as well as a legacy when I do transition from this earth. Yeah.
Oh, I just love hearing this, and I love what you're doing, and I just love your heart. You just, yes, it does. You know, sometimes you have to say, I can't say anything else. You just said everything. We just what we need. But you know, I was thinking about, you know, how you said, and see, I always tell people when you're dealing with children, they don't know what we, or as adults, we know because we're adults and we grew up and we learned every kind of different ways, right? I've learned a little later in life about affirmations because I was getting bullied for so long until I said, hey, wait a minute, like you said, something has to give here. Either it's going to continue on in my life or I got to flip this. And I did. And I started really just looking into myself and saying, no, don't believe the lies. Well, that helped me when I was a child. It was the age of 7. And to see, this is where I said angels come in your life. There was a teacher, one of my teachers. She seen, and she was trying to stop it. They were, I mean, it wasn't like they weren't trying to stop the bullying, but she was trying, and she's seen it every day in my life. And she would, after class, she would keep me for a little while longer, Queen Bean. And she would have me, I know this is old school, she would have me on the chalkboard with the chalk. People out there, yes, chalkboard chalk, okay? We're selling our ages here.
That's right.
And she would write, you are pretty, you are smart,
Oh, that's so awesome.
you have a voice, you're positive. You know, she had me write it like 50 times on the board. Now, me as a child, Queen Bean, I'm thinking, well, I felt being punished. Because I was like, usually people, you know, after school they had to run a chalkboard. It was like they were in trouble for something, right? But she turned it around. It wasn't me being in trouble. She was teaching me how to love on me.
Isn't that awesome? Wow. What a powerful teacher.
Yes.
I mean, imagine that. Imagine that. I talk about, as Wayne Dyer did, the I ams, right? So you flip that and you say, I am. So in the morning, that's why I am happy to go to school today, right? So, and that's what I talk to children about. You know, take what you're feeling, how you want to feel, right, in the morning, and just point that finger at yourself, not at other people, right? Always turn it around. Oh, there's just the self-talk, I think, is one of the most important things right now. What I'm speaking about is being our own best friend.
Yes, we have to.
And I think this is so imperative now, especially for a lot of people who are adults as well, who are super lonely, you know, to understand that we all have that wizard. I like to call our best friend and our source and everything our wizard. It's our wizard inside of us that is our go-to. You know, it's not necessarily our gut feeling. It's someone to literally have a conversation with, you know, and, you know, get to understand how you're feeling and how you tick and what those triggers are and what they aren't and how you're going to respond. And if someone triggers, right? I mean, as you can imagine, I triggered a lot with a 92-year-old mother who's, you know, I mean, I'm a daughter. Most of us daughter and mother relationships get very tenuous. So mom is very interesting and she is a piece of work. She really is. And she's fun and she's just so many things. Yet, yeah, there were triggers. And I say to myself, okay, I have to breathe. So like taking that breath first and then really, truly making that choice. Okay, what's going to be the next word out of my mouth? Like, is it going to be something that's going to now trigger her? And now we're going to get into this heightened thing. Or, you know, is it going to be levity? Because again, like a child, how interesting, right? I believe laughter is the best elixir out there. It
Yes.
is the best elixir out there. So when things get hot and heavy, I mean, if you
Mhm.
could just step back, if you need a break, fine,
Mhm.
but turn it into something that's a little bit lighter, and you will see the response shifts immediately. It shifts immediately. I'm
Yeah.
blown away with my mom. I mean, just even in my facial, if I just like she's getting, and I just look at her like, really? She'll just start cracking up and she'll go, there's that face again, or whatever it is, it's just so funny. It's been super fun. And what an interesting challenge. Now I did not, just a little bit about me. I also was not speaking with my mom. We weren't on speaking terms for almost 3 years when I was
Mhm.
50,
Mhm.
and my sister. And I handed the olive branch and all that. But the
Mhm.
bottom line is, it took a lot for me to turn around and say, wait a second,
Mhm.
this does not feel
Yeah.
good. This does not feel right. I've got to do something about this for me, because
Yeah.
I don't want her leaving this earth without me reconnecting,
That's good,
at
coach.
50.
So
So,
good.
and that's exactly what I did. So I did that, and now I find myself being her caretaker. So you can imagine all this personal development work that I've been doing
Yeah.
is so important for me to be able to through my day to day with her.
Yes.
Because she's on my mind every day, all the time.
Yeah. All
You
the
know,
time.
all
Yeah.
all the time, all the
Yeah.
time. So, yeah, so it's a really big deal, and I think again, if we're not necessarily feeling good about a certain circumstance or thing, take some responsibility, take some
Mhm.
accountability, and choose what you want to do to feel
Mhm.
better, not only in your thoughts but in your actions.
Yes.
And it just completely shifts your world. I think when we take any kind of responsibility and accountability, it completely shifts our
Oh, yeah.
world,
Oh, yeah.
so
Definitely.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
mm,
awesome. Well, you know what, Queen Terry, I want to make sure that you just get just a little bit more time on the screen so you can lay any lasting thoughts you might have for the audience. And I just want to let the audience know too, the children are our future. And we have I'm going to say this. I might get in trouble, but I'm going to say it. We have accountability for us older that we had accountability to put those seeds in practice and with awareness for the children. This is what Queen is doing. So I want to give you just a little bit more time just to give some lasting thoughts. And then I'll make sure that people know where to contact you when I come back.
beautiful, beautiful. Well, I'll lead right into that, actually, Barbara, and thank you so much. And first of all, I want to say thank you to your audience. I really appreciate you all for being here and listening and being interested in and kind of jumping on this mission with me. I I think all of us as adults have an opportunity here, and our opportunity is truly to lead by example, right? So if we're going to share with a child any of these tools that we're talking about, then use them ourselves, right? So one thing I love to talk about real quick is a mantra. So my mantra happens to be absolute. Everything's always working out for me. You'll read it in my book, right? I give out stickers to kids and everything. Adults have them on their water bottles. Uh, I think it would be wonderful as a family is if you can pick a mantra that all of you can say together on a daily basis. So you go out into the world and everything else, and now you come back for dinner, and now you could start talking about. So, how'd you do with the mantra? And no one's wrong at the table if they forgot whatever it is. That's not the point. The point is that this is something for a family to have together, to convene about, to it's 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 almost, you're building a family community, and it's our families that when we stay together and we love each other and we support each other, and through doing a lot of this work, your family will absolutely become stronger. So that's Terry Bean's or queen being, as Barbara likes to say, my queen bee ending. So please join me in my mission. Yeah, on
Well,
the
I'm
Inner
gonna.
Magic Club and all of that. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say I didn't mean to cut you off, Queen Bean, but I wanted just to reiterate. Yes, join her mission. This is amazing. I'm loving this so much. We have to get this out here. I'm already just like, okay, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do, and we haven't
Right.
even talked yet about anything.
I know, and
So many good
I
thoughts
couldn't
and
wait to meet
ideas for
you.
you. Yeah, this really needs to be out there. And like you said, when you said, and I love what you said, and this is something, okay, Queen's teaching us here. Before we came on with this interview, she was telling me, she said, you know, what I have, Barbara, this is just, it's huge. It's huge. And a lot of times I hear people do the opposite. This queen, she's like, no, I know where this has to go. I know how huge. See, she knows, she's locked into it. This is, we need to follow her lead. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't never put yourself in a box, because you never know what you're doing, what your gifts that you have needs to reach how many people. And when you put yourself in that box, you don't reach the people that you need to reach, because you're already in your mind thinking closed mind a little bit. This queen, no, she knows how huge this is. She's like, okay, we got to get some platform. We got to, because I know how big it is and I love it. So, Queen, thank you for teaching us how to dream big and how to make sure that we are expanding.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And everybody has it in them. So it's
Yes.
awesome. Thank
And
you
we have
so
to start
much,
with
Barbara,
children,
for this
like you
time.
said. Yeah.
Thank you.
So with that, everybody, again, another wonderful, I told you, another wonderful, amazing Coaches Lounge show, where what we do, what I do, what the whole production does is we like to spotlight experts' advice for life and for business. And as you see this queen being, she's trying to really go out there and we really help the youth. We really need this so badly. I'm just not going to say how badly it is. I can go into another whole conversation with that, but just to let everybody know how important it is. And please reach out to Queen Terry. With that said, this is another segment of Coaches Lounge. We will see you at the next one. And remember, your gifts are so important in you, but sometimes you need that extra help, which is called a coach. You take care.